The theme of our talk today will be on the mission of Jesus as revealed in the Gospel of Luke. We find that the four Gospels contain the mystic essence of spiritual knowledge and wisdom. If you were to take the compendium of knowledge found in the Hindu tradition, it could be compared to a veritable jungle of knowledge. And Lord Buddha brought out its essence. The essence of the entire ancient mystical wisdom knowledge was brought out, and he gave it a new format. Then thereafter we find that Jesus in his Gospels brings out the cream of this knowledge, which is basically meant for man's salvation. He stripped this knowledge of all unnecessary metaphysics. There was no need for any theological doctrines or schools of thought. But he directly pinpointed the essence of the whole teaching. So that is why it could be considered to be the essence of it. Just as much as the cream is the essence of the milk, so also this knowledge which is contained in the four Gospels is the beautiful mystic wisdom knowledge, which is a distilled essence of the ancient mystical knowledge of the world. Now Jesus himself, since the scripture is a mystical teaching, it requires a mystical interpretation and a mystical understanding in order to comprehend it. Now we find that Jesus, when he brings it out and mentions his mission, what a beautiful teaching he opens out as to what he really indicated. So when he came into the town of Nazareth, as was his usual custom, he entered the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and a book was given to him, the book of Isaiah. And he took the book, opened a section which was going to mention what his mission in life was. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he had anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor." So there were 6 factors which he mentions here. First is, he says that he came to preach the gospel to the poor. Secondly, He had sent me to heal the broken-hearted. That was the second factor. Thirdly, to preach deliverance to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind. That was the fourth. And fifthly, to set at liberty them that are bruised. And lastly, the sixth, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. Acceptable year of the Lord. And then he closed the book. Having mentioned this, he closed it and gave it again to the minister and sat down. This day is the scripture fulfilled in your ears. That's what he said. This day is your scripture fulfilled in your ears. So here are the 6 points that he had mentioned. Gives a remarkable insight into a wealth of spiritual knowledge and what his mission was. So he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, that he had specially come here to give a teaching. Of course, a Messiah comes. The main purpose of a Messiah is to give a teaching. Not to believe in him, but to understand his teachings. By merely believing in him, you will not attain salvation. But by understanding a Messiah's teaching and living by that, you will attain to salvation. So he came here to give a teaching. That's the primary purpose of a Messiah. And a Messiah teaches in 2 ways. Firstly, he teaches, gives a teaching, and thereafter his life itself is a teaching. His life. So everyone is supposed to live the way Jesus lived, a Messiah lived. So now he says to preach the gospel to the poor. To the poor. Who are the poor? Now we find that in the Sermon on the Mount, it is mentioned there who the poor is. So the first opening statement or phrase in the Sermon on the Mount is, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Blessed are the poor in spirit. In spirit they are poor. So now this has to be understood in 3 ways. Firstly, even though you may have all the possessions, the first meaning, even though you may have all the possessions, if you are detached from them, and these possessions do not torment you and trouble you, because so long as you live in the world, you need some basic possessions as practical things to live your life by. But if the possessions begin to possess you, then you are in trouble. Then you are in bondage. So therefore, if you are detached from your possessions, whatever they are, and if you are able to live your life accordingly, then you are poor in spirit. In spirit, you are poor. So you are detached from everything. So you have got 2 types of possessions. One is, of course, physical things. The other is the living possessions in the form of your relationships that you may have. But you may have a wife, a husband, children, everything. But you are detached. You are detached. in your psychological attitude and nature. So, blessed are the poor in spirit. So, if you are detached from the things of the world, then you would have the capacity, you would derive the capacity to be in touch and in tune with your divine nature. Because so long as you have this sense of these possessions, which if you are obsessed with them, you get involved and forget yourself and get lost in your possessions. You have two types of possessions. One is, of course, the physical possessions. They are material possessions. And the other is the psychological possessions. The psychological possessions of your loves, your hopes, your desires. So you are possessed by all of them. You are possessed by all of them. And it is these psychological possessions which torment you. So you have to now become free of them, free of all these psychological possessions, of your loves, of your hatreds, of your ambitions, your hopes, your desires. You've got to become free of all of them. So therefore, you have to become empty of them. Become free. So when you are in this manner, detached from these psychological possessions, then what happens is, the second meaning in this word, blessed are the poor in spirit. The second meaning comes into play. And poor in spirit, that is to say, when you are bereft of your psychological possessions, free of them, when you are not troubled by them, because if you are troubled by an emotion or a feeling or a sentiment, it's possessing your mind and you get possessed by that. So if you are free of that, then what happens is you develop or acquire a desert-like state of mind. A desert-like state of mind. So Meister Eckhart says that beautifully. So one should have a mind which is like a desert-like state of mind. And in such a mind, there is nothing there. In a desert, there is nothing. It is empty of everything. So your mind also should be empty of everything. So those blessed are the poor in spirit. That's the second meaning. Blessed are the poor in spirit. You have nothing. You have no possessions. You have no psychological possessions. And therefore your mind is empty. And it is free. And for a person, and for that mind which is empty and free, it can be filled in spirit. Empty thyself, and thou shalt be filled in spirit. So you've got to, therefore it's futile to teach people and give them the higher knowledge who are not prepared for it, who are not ready for it, who are not working for it. So that's why he said, he had anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. The gospel means the good teachings, the good tidings. The good tidings are the way to salvation. Because that is what everyone should seek for. One should seek for the way. So the gospel shows you the way. A scripture shows you the way to God, the way to your God nature. So that is why it is a gospel and it's a scripture. Because it reveals to you in a practical way how to proceed. The way, you're looking for the way. And it's an inward way, it's an inner way. So therefore, you must have, as a forerunner, a desert-like state of mind, which is bereft and empty of all its psychological possessions and turmoils. So blessed are the poor in spirit. Then the third meaning is, if you are full of your own individual spirit, it won't work. Not my will, but thy will. So when you are to function in the world with your will, it's my will. So when you say it's my will, you are full of spirit. You're not poor in spirit. So that is why later on in the Lord's Prayer, it is mentioned there. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. As it had been willed by the good Lord in heaven. So whatever is happening in the whole universe is so happening because it is so willed by the good Lord. So the word in heaven means by the good Lord, as it has been willed by the good Lord. So the expression in heaven implies that as God has willed. And whatever takes place in the lives of everyone in the whole universe is by the will of God. And that will of God gets executed on planet Earth. On planet Earth. So, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it has been willed in heaven. So as it was willed in heaven, so you too also, when you take the will of God, when you accept the will of God in your life you accept the will of the good Lord, and then follow it and execute it, then will you willingly accept it, and then you live by the will of God. Not your will, but the will of God, and then you are poor in spirit. Then you are poor in spirit. And the way to live your life by the will of God is to accept whatever phenomena which comes your way in life. So in life you will find all types of phenomena, all types of experiences coming in your way in life. As it comes, it has so come because it has been so willed by the good Lord. And as it comes, you don't reject it. You accept the flow and then work and work on it and flow with it. Flow with the flow of life. So in this way, you are now living the will of God. The will of God in your life. So thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So as it had been willed in heaven by the good Lord, you consciously accept it and then follow it up and execute it in your life. Then it will be done on earth. This is the meaning there. This is spiritual, it's mystical meaning there in this sense. Now you are executing. So when this transpires, then it's God's will which is taking place on earth, planet earth here. So therefore he says, for such people who are in obedience to the good Lord, who are in obedience, if you are the son of God, every one of you is a son or the daughter of God. You are the son of God. If you are truly the son of God, then you must accept you must be in obedience to the will of your Father. Then you are truly a son. And if you execute the will of your Father, then you truly live your life as a son. You are a true son indeed, and then only you become a son. A son is a son who obeys his father, who lives in obedience to the will of his father. So therefore, in this sense, when a person lives, this is true obedience. This is true obedience. So such a people who are now in obedience to the will of God, and then who wish to live, understand the Gospels and live by it, these Gospels teachings have been given. These teachings have been given to you. So therefore he says, to preach the Gospel to the poor in spirit. In spirit you are poor. Then he says, he had sent me to heal the broken-hearted, the second one. Of course, you are now broken-hearted. That is very clear. You are fragmented by all your desires, your impulses, fragmented by your emotions, by your feelings. So every person is a fragmented being. So therefore, that's why he had sent me to heal the broken-hearted. So you who are broken-hearted, you have to now be healed of all your fragmentation and be made whole. You have to be made whole and to be made one. So you have to become whole and one indeed. So therefore, the healing of your heart has to take place. To heal the broken-hearted. So to clear you of your own human emotions with which you have been fragmented and broken-hearted. So what breaks your heart? What breaks your heart? Your emotions break your heart. Your feelings break your heart. Your sentiments, human sentiments break your heart. And you are filled with all these. So you have to be healed of them. You have to be healed of all of these emotions. And then, so you've got to be healed of them. And when you become healed of them, you will become one. You will become one and whole. You will become healed and become whole. And when you become whole, you will become as your Father in heaven is, whole. He is one. Your Father is one and He is whole. So too also, you too also will become one and whole. W-H-O-L-E, whole. So you too will become whole and one. So, to heal the broken-hearted and to make them one and non-fragmented. And to preach deliverance to the captives. Yes. Not that you are held in captivity in Egypt. No? But everyone is held captive by what? Everyone is held captive by their own desires. It is your desires which hold you in captivity. You are held in captivity. You are in captivity of your desires, of your impulses, your human passions hold you in captivity. Your human aspirations. So you have to have deliverance of that. You have to obtain deliverance of that. So this is your real captivity. You don't have to put a person into captivity. You give him all the things of the world, and then you will see that he is so captured by them. And he is held in captivity by his own longing for things, his own longings. So therefore, deliverance to the captives, from what you have been, from your desires. So once you become free of your desires, the more and more you become free of your desires, your deliverance is taking place. Freedom is taking place. You wish to attain to freedom. And freedom comes when you are delivered from from the things which captivate you. So the things which captivate you make you a captive indeed. So the more and more you become detached from all the things of the world indeed, the more and more you are moving towards freedom, true freedom. And when you are totally non-attached to everything and totally detached from everything else, that is the state of freedom, total freedom. The more empty you are, the more freer you become. The more freer. The more freer you are, the more you are moving towards freedom. You know, when you are filled with possessions, it is your possessions. All the possessions that you have so tangled you up. But the moment you release your possessions, you will find a sort of a tension going out. You feel yourself relaxed and free of all the encumbrances which you have. So therefore, to preach deliverance to the captives. So you have been held in captive. And then fourthly, the recovering of sight to the blind. You are the sight to the blind. Of course. It is not discounted that He gave sight to the blind. It's not that blindness. Of course, those who are physically blind, He gave sight to them. Yes, He did that. He made the dumb talk. He made the lame walk. And He gave sight to the blind. In fact, in certain instances, He spat on the ground, took that paste of mud and put it onto the eyes of the person, and then removed it after some time and said, now look, now see. So, in that sense, physically, he of course gives sight to the blind. But here it is not that sight that he is talking of. To those who are spiritually blind, he gave the wisdom eye. The wisdom eye, the spiritual eye. You may have heard of the word, the third eye. The third eye means the eye of wisdom. The eye of wisdom. He gave them the eye of wisdom. The eye of wisdom knowledge, by which they would be able to see and perceive. With your fleshy eyes, you can see the world around you. The world which is around you can be seen by your fleshy eyes. But to perceive the divine, you need the divine, the mystic eye, the wisdom eye indeed. And it is this wisdom eye. This wisdom eye is what is called as God consciousness or God awareness. And how to have this wisdom eye? So he says, and recovering of sight to the blind, to the blind, the sight, the wisdom eye. And what is this wisdom eye? He talks of. Because you need this sight. And he says something very nice about this. And he says, no man, when he had lighted a candle, put it in a secret place. When you have a candle, you don't put it on a secret place because it has to light up. Neither under the bushel, nor do you hide it under a bushel, the candle. But you put it on a candlestick, that which come in may see the light. You put it on a candlestick. So when you light a candle, you put it on a candlestick. Now what is this light? And what is the candlestick on which you have to put the light? You are the candlestick. You are the candlestick. And you have to be given this candle. And this candle, which is the light, you've got to light this candle. And this light is the, you may call it God awareness. To live in with God consciousness. The art of living with God awareness. God awareness is the light with which, that is the light. And once you have this light, this God awareness, then what happens? So you are to see everything. So it lighted up the whole universe. This God awareness lights and illumines the entire universe itself. And this God awareness is one, is single. God is one. God is, is one. And so he says, the light of the body is the eye. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when the eye is single, thy whole body also is full of light. So, when the eye is single, what is this eye which is single? He is now going to explain to you what is not single. Thy whole body also is full of light when the eye is single. When the eye is single, your whole body is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, when your eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. Now what is this evil? When thy eye is evil. The eye which is evil is said to be the multiplicity of vision. The multiplicity. The multiplicity of things that you see. Everything that you see in the whole universe. So the differentiations that you have in the world, the differences, that is the multiplicity, the mountain, the river, the sky, the trees, these people, This is the multiplicity. So the vision of the multiplicity that you are seeing, this is the vision of this vision, which is the multiplicity, is said to be. So is said, but when thine eye is evil. So when you have this vision of the multiplicity, this is the multiplicity that you are seeing. When your eyes are open, you see the universe which is made up of multiplicity. At this time, your eye is evil. Evil means it is not right. It is not right. So what is evil? Evil is nothing but straying away from your center is evil. Straying away from your center, your God center. When you deviate from your God center, you have deviated into sin. And that sin is said to be the evil. So when you are centered in God, at that time, you are one with God. But when you deviate from this center, from this God center, you are entering into the territory of evil. And there you perceive the multiplicity of the world around you. And that is said to be, that is, when you see all that, then it is said, their eye is evil. Their eye is evil. Then when this happens, thy body also is full of darkness. When you see evil around you, your body is full of darkness. Now what is this body which is full of darkness? What does he refer to this body? This body is the universe. This body is the universe. This universe is darkness. You see, so when your eye is evil, when it sees multiplicity, it is in darkness. That is why. And why is it in darkness? Because you do not see God there. Since you do not see God there, but you see only the multiplicity, therefore it is in darkness. Your eye is in darkness. But if you do not see the multiplicity, but train yourself to see the oneness of God, which is there in the multiplicity, there is the presence of the oneness of God. The oneness of God is inherently present in the entire multiplicity of the universe. But the oneness of God is not perceived by you. It's not perceived by you. But what is immediately perceived by you is the multiplicity. So therefore, when you perceive the oneness everywhere, the oneness of God everywhere, oneness means God everywhere, then your eye is full of light. Therefore, when the eye is single, that you see only that single God which is whole and one everywhere. So when you perceive that one God with an eye, with a single eye, with a single vision of seeing the divine everywhere, then thy whole body is full of light. Your whole body is full of light. Because the whole universe is full of light because you are seeing God everywhere. There was an interesting story about this, about nearly 100 years ago in India. There was a holy person called Seshadri Swamigal, and he was well known in the area, in the village countryside, that he was a holy person. So one day, he was going through a field and was gazing at a buffalo. He was gazing at a buffalo. And then, as he was gazing at the buffalo, a villager came by that way and asked him, Swamiji, are you seeing a buffalo? And he replied, you buffalo, that is not a buffalo, that is God. So he referred to the man as you buffalo because you have a buffalo vision. Therefore you are seeing it as a buffalo. But here he is saying, you buffalo, that is God. That is God, because he had the God vision. So he was seeing that one God in the buffalo and in everything. So this is that eye of what's that thing? When your eye is single, that's what he means. When your eye is single, then thy whole body is full of light. This whole body, the whole universe is your body. This whole universe is full of the light of God. You see God everywhere. So long as this vision is there, this vision of the single vision, you see God everywhere. And how to do that? How to do it? Even though you perceive the differentiations, the multiplicity, you become indifferent to it. It's only when you look at the whole thing, the whole panorama of the world around you, you just look at it. You don't fix your attention on it. But in the background of the mind of your consciousness, you perceive that unconditioned oneness. The unconditioned oneness. And the things which are conditioned in the form of the mountain, the river, the sky and the stream, etc., they are there. Even though they manifest, you do not partake of it. You see it and you see it not. So this God vision now is in the background. Of course, the world vision of multiplicity is in the foreground. So all these years, you have been only perceiving the universe which is in the foreground. Now, when you have been given this education, and then you are told to perceive this oneness of the divine everywhere, which is there inherently present in everything, then this awareness is in the background, and even though you see things in the front, you don't intake it. You don't allow it to register. Even though you go through a crowd of people, unless you particularly register yourself upon somebody, they're all fleeting shadows. They're all fleeting shadows. You would not be able to recognize them until you focus your attention upon something or somebody in particular. Then only recognition dawns. Otherwise, they are just fleeting shadows. So in the same way also, whatever phenomena which is being perceived by you, you just perceive it. You don't. So as you just perceive it, you don't intake it. You do not intake that perception. But knowing very well that in the background, the divine oneness is there. And then as you maintain this divine oneness of vision everywhere, that then what happens is, what is there in the background gradually comes into the foreground of your awareness, and what is in the foreground gradually slips back into the background. The foreground, which is the universe, slips back into the background, fades away and disappears, and that which was in the background, which is this divine awareness of one, comes to the foreground and takes over your consciousness, entirely consumes it, and you have this God vision taking place, and thereafter with this God vision, the God experience will transpire, because it has now come into the foreground of it. So this is what he says, when thine eye is single, thy whole body is also full of light. Now, furthermore, in this seeing of the multiplicity, there is a duality. There is a duality present always there. How to further proceed into this vision of the one, of the single eye which is one, the eye which is one. How to attain to this eye which is one? There are two things in duality. I and you. I and you. And you and the universe. You and the universe. You and the universe is the duality. When you have transpired, along with you, the universe transpires. The universe, the multiplicity transpires along with you. When you emerge, the universe also emerges, with its multiplicity emerges. So this is the vision of the duality. So therefore, what should you do? From the source where the duality emerges, there itself allow the duality to submerge. Where the you and the universe arise, there itself let the two you and the universe submerge and disappear at that place, point where it arises. And when you close your eyes and see nothing, neither are you aware of yourself, nor are you aware of yourself as an individual, nor are you aware of the world around you, then at that point, spontaneously, you and the universe have submerged and have collapsed and disappeared from where they arose. You and the universe arose together in your consciousness. And therefore, when you close your eyes, and you will find that you and the universe have ceased to be. There is only a single vision there. There is only non-duality. Non-duality there. Non-duality is there. So the duality now gives rise to the non-dual state. The non-dual state is the state of oneness. The single vision. So maintain this non-dual awareness. Maintain this non-dual awareness. And as you open the eyes also, maintain this non-dual awareness. As you are within yourself, you lost that duality of I, of you and the universe. So also, remaining, that is that state wherein the non-dual awareness has transpired. You have not ceased to be there, your awareness is there. And in this non-dual awareness is said to be the I of the single I. This single I. So with this non-dual awareness, when you open your eyes, even though you see not the world. Even though the world is around you there, you see it not. You see it not, that means that you don't intake it within yourself. You don't intake it. So this is what he said, that when your eye is single, thy whole body is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. Take heed therefore that light which is in thee be not darkness. So therefore you must see to it that you do not have the worldly eye. The worldly eye which is made up of the multiplicity. Instead of the multiplicity, have this non-dual vision or the non-dual awareness. This is the non-dual awareness that you are to maintain. So then he says, give sight to the blind. So this is the sight that he has promised to give to the blind. The eye of wisdom, the mystic eye, by which this God awareness can be. This God awareness which is the non-dual awareness. The non-dual awareness that he is talking of. So he has come to give you this sight, the spiritual eye to see. To set at liberty, then the fifth one, to set at liberty them that are bruised. Of course, everyone is bruised in the world. As you keep on living your life in the world, you are tired. You are tired of the life. You get bruised by life. So when you are bruised by life, you seek rest. You seek solace. You seek peace. So having gone through all the rigors of hardship and difficulties in life, so therefore you seek the freedom and the liberty from that. So he says that you become healed, to heal all those who are bruised in the world. And the more of light that you, the more the eye of oneness that you maintain, the single eye of non-dual awareness you maintain, then you become more and more God aware. And this God awareness saturates your consciousness. And in the process, from whatever you are bruised in life, all those bruises you get healed of, or all those bruises, and you become free and you are set free of all of them. Then he says, the sixth, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. Now what is the acceptable year of the Lord? Now that is acceptable year, the time of the Lord. What is the time of the Lord? Haven't you heard that expression? Behold, today is the day of salvation. Today is the day of salvation. Not today, but now is the day of time. Now is the time of salvation. Now, that is the acceptable year of the Lord. Now is the time of salvation. Now, not later. Now. So when he says now, he is asking you to live in the present. The now is the present. The little now with a now, the time. Now is the day of salvation. Now, not tomorrow. Salvation is not tomorrow, but now. It is the day of salvation. It is now, and in today, and in that, now is the day of salvation. Now is the time of salvation. Now. You have to be in the now, the present. In order to be in the present, what should you do? Forget the past. Do not live in the memories of the past. Forget the past totally. Leave the past severely alone. Do not allow the past to come and fill your mind, occupy your mind. Often people live in the past, don't they? Or they live in the future. They live in the imaginings of the future. How the future would be and could be. Either they live in the memories of the past or in the imaginings of the future. But what is available is the present. And as a result of it, they miss the present. So therefore, you have to live in the present. The present is the now. And the now that you are, if you are in the now is always there. And this now is the eternal now. This now is the eternal now. This now that you are now, which is with a little n, N-O-W, now, with a little n with N-O-W now, is the present now. And this now is the eternal now. Now with a capital N is the eternal now. You're living in the eternity. You're living in eternity. So you don't have to wait for tomorrow for salvation. You're right here. Right now itself. So this is the art of living. The way to live in God. The way to live in the eternal divine. The way to live in the eternal divine is to live in the now. Be in the now. Be in the present. And as the present comes, as each present comes, accept the present. Don't reject the present. Accept the present as it comes. And the next present comes. So you're always in the now. It's a series of presents which come. Each moment it comes. In the flow of time. In the flow of time. But you are in the now. You're rooted in the now. You're established in the now. So it is in this manner that you are to be in the now. And keep on living your life. So in this way, this is the spiritual art of living. When you are in the now, as the now comes, in whatever form it comes, you freely go through that now, but at the same time, with an equanimous state of mind. You're maintaining, so live your present in a very serene and with a serene and equanimous mind. Serenely, with equanimity, go on living your present. Be in the present. And when you are in such a manner being in the present, you are living in the eternal now. In the eternal now. You are living in the eternal now there. And the eternal now is the divine. You are living in the divine. And the manifested things which come your way are not important. They are unimportant. But what is of relevance is to be in the now. Be in the present. Be in the now. The past is dead and gone. The future is the unknown future is yet to arise. But what is available to you is the immediate present. And be in the present. And take charge of the present with equanimity and with calmness. Then you are living in the eternal now, wherein you have no time. You have no time. And in this process, you are not in a hurry to get anywhere. To get anywhere, you are not in a hurry. Because you are peacefully, because everyone wants to live peacefully. But unfortunately, since they are being in a hurry all the time, they can't live peacefully. They are unable to. So here we have to reprogram and retrain ourselves to peacefully be in the present, in the now. And this is the accepted year of the Lord. This is the accepted year of the Lord, how one is to live. So therefore there is a great deal of spiritual and mystic truths and wisdom revealed in the Gospels in this man. And he says, I have come to reveal this to you. And he continues and says, physician, heal thyself. He concludes that and says, physician, you are the physician, heal thyself. You have to heal yourself, of all your psychological aberrations which are there within you. You yourself have to look into it and heal yourself. So you are the good physician who has to heal. Heal thyself. Now that he has given you the know-how, the way to do it so, do so. Now live your life accordingly with this single eye of oneness, this single eye. And he says this is the mission which he has come for, to give you these profound truths and profound knowledge. And then he concludes and says, a prophet is not honored in his hometown. That is why when he had finished this, he was stoned and chased away from that area. A prophet is not honored. He said, isn't he the person who is the son of Joseph, who lived amongst us, who is talking to us in this manner? So therefore, this was the mission of Jesus. Oh,
interesting talk. Some of the key points you brought out, I'm sure most people know this here anyway, were theosophical points about the oneness of life and, things, how you work with God and see God in everything. So the question now, surely it must be true, as Jesus never wrote anything down, it must have been the disciples, particularly Luke, specifically Luke, who mentioned that as well, who wrote this down because they understood what he said to them. That must be true, surely. Because he didn't write any Gospels, did he? The disciples that wrote it.
yes, it is well known that it is the disciples who wrote it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for your most interesting talk, which was a nice continuation of my weekend at the Eckhart Society at Tinsley Hall. You said yourself, and agree with Master Eckhart, the poor in spirit. It means to really not to be attached to these things. Most young men these days and in the past have been urged to go out and get a good job. I'd like to ask you a personal question. What motivated you as a young man not to go out and get a good job and go and live the foothills of the Himalayas?
Well, when your time comes And when you're ready for it, you go away to the Himalayas. All the other young men, they are going through their process. Majority of the human race is, shall we say, even young men and older men too, they are still in the depths of their, in the heights of their immaturity, and they wish to be entertained by the world and play with the world. So their time has not yet come. So it is correct and not, it's all right for these young men and women and older men to go out into the world and seek things in the world. But when you mature in life, then you will realize the folly of everything. Enough of these toys.
Now the Himalaya is the only place that you go to.
You can go anywhere.
I mean, I'm sure this place is one of them.
I'm interested in what you say about non-dual awareness.
Yes.
It seems to me that in my everyday life, I am subject and that is object. But if I do achieve non-dual awareness, both must be in one. Subject and object must be in one, which means I must be God.
Well, you are getting to God, you are not yet. That is the process by which you can eventually arrive at God. Maintain this non-dual awareness and then go on functioning in the world. But with this non-dual awareness. So maintaining this non-dual awareness is the key to the whole thing. Wherein neither you nor the object in front of you is irrelevant and important, but nevertheless for practical transaction you go through it. Without a sense of arrogance, in a very unassuming natural way, you train yourself to function. Just naturally function. And always while functioning, tend to be in the present, in the now. So when you are in the now, of course, this non-dual awareness is also being maintained by you, being in the now. You are unconcerned of the past or the future, but in the now. Wholly and totally present in the now. So this is the way of living. So two factors. One is a non-dual awareness. Secondly, be in the now. So non-dual awareness is the single I. And being in the now is the, today is the year of the Lord. That is, now is the accepted time. Today is the accepted time of salvation. Then you will automatically settle down in your God nature. The non-dual awareness will enable you to settle down by and by as you keep on living your life in the world. Gradually you're settling down there. And your non-dual awareness is saturating your consciousness. And once it totally saturates and consumes your consciousness, then at that point, the non-dual experience transpires. The non-dual experience that I am God, that transpires.
So I'm on the way.
Yes, you are on the way.
Oh no, you're not.
And it's never too late for anyone to go through that process. So long as you have mental faculties intact, you're fine.
But it's quite hard to start thinking of the outside, I mean outside me, the objective as part of me.
As part of the human eye, the outside, this arise together. You wake up to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you wake up to yourself. And along with that, simultaneously, you wake up to the world too.
But there's so much in the world I don't like.
Yes, that's the whole idea. See to it that you neither like it nor dislike it. If you dislike anything in the world or anybody in the world, then that is a ruffle in your consciousness. You see?
Yeah.
So neither like nor dislike anybody, or neither like or dislike anything. So, and then you will maintain this unruffled awareness, because any dislike, any hatred, any love too is a ruffle, which is disturbing this equilibrium.
Difficult to think of that with love.
Well, you have to be loving. Love is different from loving. You see, you can be loving to known people, unknown people. You can be loving. But personal love is a different thing, which is an affection, which is an affectation of the heart. That has to be clear. Personal love almost amounts to part of your possessions. You love something, you love somebody.
Thank you.
Swami, as Theosophists, we understand that there is something called the wisdom religion, a very timeless, ancient wisdom and knowledge which underpins all religions. All religions say more or less the same things, but they're packaged in very different ways. Christianity is 2,000 years old. What do you envisage would or should be the next development in this? How should this wisdom be repackaged in the future so that more people can understand it?
Yes. We have to clear the non-essentials from religion. You see, what is happening today in the world is, it is the non-essentials which have become the essentials of a religion. And the non-essentials are totally non-essential.
You mean the rituals and so on?
All the rituals, all forms of ritualistic worship and practices, and their theologies, their respective doctrines and theologies. They have got their own doctrines too. All that is irrelevant. You don't need a doctrine for this. For this non-dual awareness, do you need a doctrine? You don't need. And people cling on to the doctrine. So you have the Christian, they call the church doctrine, or the Christian doctrine, or the Vedanta philosophy, or the Buddhist philosophy. They are doctrines. Leave all of them alone. So long as you hold on to these doctrines, you will end up with scholastic debates and scholasticity, which is totally irrelevant. So one doesn't need doctrines in the world too. just leave these doctrines. Leave also religious affiliations. Religious affiliations is an error. So long as you have a religious feeling and an affiliation that you are a Christian, a Hindu, or a Buddhist, that very feeling that I'm a Hindu or a Christian or a Buddhist will prevent you from getting enlightened. So they have to give it up. They have to leave that. And if you strongly, if a person feels that a person is a Hindu or a Christian or a Buddhist or even a Zen Buddhist, some people say that they are Zen Buddhist. The very fact that he says that he is a Zen Buddhist itself means that he has not understood what Zen is. It's not a doctrine. It has got nothing to do with it. So also all these religions have their respective doctrines, and they all say that our doctrine is superior and better than all the others. They all have doctrinal arguments. So leave all of them alone.
But it's even worse than that, isn't it? For example, all religions have their branches and sects and so on. I believe that Christianity in the United States alone has more than 40,000 different sects
Yes,
and
in
groups
fact,
and
that's
so
why
on.
that's what happens when people, some of them are ego-created sects, and some people create a sect out of a famous person. You don't need that. It's like joining a club. And the worst part is, religion, truly speaking, is a club. The only difference is, you're born to a club. So when you have born to a club, you have got those religious initiations, like the clubs have their club initiations, club rituals. So also religions have their own religious initiations and rituals, all that. They're all totally irrelevant. The first thing that you must understand is, God has no religion. Has He? Therefore, why should you? And the remarkable thing is, none of the scriptures talk to you about a religion.
None of the scriptures.
Just talk to you about a religion. The 4 Gospels found in the Bible do not talk of a religion. Lord Buddha, when he gave their teachings, he didn't call it as a religion. And the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita do not talk one word of religion. There is no religion there. But yet people subscribe to religions. Yes.
Do you see artistic expression as a form of attachment, or can it be God-inspired?
Which one? Artistic.
Artistic expression, whether it be music, art, any form of artistic expression. Do you see it as a form of attachment, or can it be a vehicle for people to connect and achieve those peak moments?
Yes, it is a vehicle to achieve those peak moments, and artistic expression is an expression coming out of you, and it's good to express yourself out.
Some art is God-inspired.
And in some of them you get, yes, God-inspired too in your artistic creations, and in writings and many other forms, music, etc. And that's perfectly fine. That's part of your human growth. It's part of your growth of each individual.
Should a person move on from that, if they do reach the peak expression through their art, and then they feel the need to move on, Is that too okay or?
Oh, he has to move on, it's fine, you have to move on. The artist has expressed himself and then he can move on.
Yeah, it seems to me that what you said about 2 minutes ago when you were talking about not disliking or liking, that's, first of all, let me say, there's a bind